what you mean by standard deviation? I'll explain, but anyone who standard deviation, what do you understand by term deviation? Let's understand it from the very scratch. What we understand by
So
yeah,
a deviation from the actual return compared to the expected.
deviation from the center, you can say. So, say for example, you have got data points here. We can always find the center. What is when I say center, to consider to be a wooden box, where should I keep my needle here in the center so that entire wooden board is in a static situation that is balanced. So this is a center. So when I say deviation, how each point is far from this center. So I will calculate these deviations. So if I were to write mathematically, if I call this center as mu and these data points as say x1, x2, x3. So if I calculate the difference between this standard deviation of each, like this is a deviation, how far these are the points x1, x2, x3 from the mean, how far each point is from mean, we will calculate that. This is called as a deviation. But if I if I like the I'll tell you first very basic formula for deviation. I mean, see, it won't be asked in the exam. You can directly put data points in your calc and get the standard deviation, but you should know what exactly that particular quantity is giving you. So that this is called as a deviation, but we square it. Why we square it? Because say for example, your mu is 5 and your or let me call this as 25. Okay, so this is your mu. Say there are three data points only. One x1 is on one point is 15 x1 and x2 is 35. If I calculate the distance between this point and this point, can you tell me if I calculate mu minus xi or xi minus mu, one and same thing? But yeah, if I calculate mu minus x1, this is my mu, this is my x1. Can you tell me what would be my mu minus x1? This is a Greek letter mu, which is usually it's a nomenclature that is used for a mean. So if I calculate distance of this point, this center is my 25, this point is 15. How far these points are? 25 minus 15. How much it would be?
Is it 10?
It would be 10. 25 minus 15, that is your 10. If I calculate mu minus x2, so it would be, this is mu. So again, 25 minus x2, 35. So if I don't square, usually you square in the formula of standard deviation, divide by n minus 1. This is a formula for standard deviation. So deviation square divide by one less number of data points. So if I don't square this, and if you just add these, so you add these deviations, whatever deviations you are getting, add these up, square, first square these deviation, then add these up and divide these by n minus 1. That will give you standard deviation. But if like see anything that exists has some objective, this square exists because if I don't square these deviation, this is, let me call this as a deviation 1 and let me call this as a deviation 2. If I don't square, if I just add d1 plus d2, these will offset each other and you will feel that like 10 minus 10 you will get a 0. So you will feel that the data points are not dispersed, whereas one point is on the left side of the mean, one point is on the right side of the mean. Ideally there is a big deviation between the data points. One is away left on the left side of the mean, one is on the right side of the mean. So if you don't square, if you just directly add these deviation, you will get 0, which will be not a correct picture of your actual data set. That's why you square it and do add it. Is this point clear? Like this is a very basic thing of like you can say quants. wherein we talk about standard deviation. Many people use these terms like you read it somewhere, you hear it from someone, and you keep using these terms without getting the actual deep understanding of these. Is the understanding clear on the standard deviation? See, this is for data set which has one array like x1, x2, x3. Now we will talk about how you calculate the standard deviation of portfolio wherein you have got two assets. Like over here, it was just a one asset wherein you can calculate deviations from mean, calculate the standard deviation of that particular one array, x1, x2, x3. We will talk about like what if we have got two data sets. So you are making investments in two assets. How I calculate standard deviation of portfolio in that case, that we will talk about. But is the standard deviation understanding clear for one dimensional data point, one dimensional data set? Anyone who has any doubt, please do ask. These are very basic things. As a FRM candidate, you should be very thorough with these things. Anyone ask you in the interview, you should be in a position to reproduce these at the top of your head. Is it clear? Like, is it making sense? Any doubts? Anyone has any other thought? Are you awake?
We are here.
Okay, but yeah, is it making sense? Like, is it like sensible? Like whatever we talked about here?
Yeah, I think we have to exercise more to understand properly.
Yeah, I see. Calculation wise, no need to undo calculations. It's really, see, FRM is not really about undoing calculations. Of course, at instances we have to do, but it's more on like understanding things. So let's understand standard deviation of portfolio, like how we calculated the mean of portfolio as W1 mu1 plus W2 mu2. In the same way, we will calculate standard deviation of portfolio as under root weight 1 square sigma 1 square. Weight, when I say weight, how much of money you have put in this stock, that is your weight, and standard deviation of first square. And at the on the right hand side, it would be twice of this row. This is a Greek letter which looks like P of English letter. It's a correlation W1 W2 sigma 1 sigma 2, like ignore, like I think it has appeared twice, so it should be once. So this is how you calculate the mean and standard deviation of your portfolios. Now let me demonstrate.